Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. Today we got Elimination Chamber pay-per-view review here from 2018. We are now on the road to WrestleMania 34. Take some time, subscribe to the channel. If you're new to the channel here, I do mostly DVD reviews and unboxings and things like that. So thank you all for checking out the video. So Elimination Chamber was this past weekend. I went 4 out of 4 with my predictions. Sheamus and Cesaro ended up defeating who'd they even defeat? I didn't even write it down, but overall, a very predictable show. We all knew for the past year that Roman Reigns was going to be the one to defeat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. So going into this, it was kind of predictable. They tried to throw us a curveball with, adding an extra man into the chamber and all this and that. But for whatever it was, if it was the city they were in or, just an off night, this pay-per-view really didn't cut it for me. And I don't know. I would say the women's chamber was definitely more interesting to me than the men's. Because that one, we had a little bit of curiosity with it. And I think just overall, seeing the women in the chamber, it added another element to the Elimination Chamber. And I actually enjoyed it much more than the men's this year. So let's get into it, guys. Thank you all for watching the videos. Bayley and Sonya Deville would start out the first ever women's Elimination Chamber match. So how the Elimination Chamber works, 4 participants are enclosed into the pods. Every 5 minutes, another person comes into the match. I personally don't like the 5-minute intervals. I think 5 minutes is a little bit too long between entries. I think they've gone to about 3 or 4 minutes before. That works out just fine. But So Sonya and Bayley, they're working in and out of the ring. Bayley hits a nice elbow drop from the top outside onto the steel grating, what it used to be. Now it's more padded and things like that. So Bayley and Sonya go at it for the first 5 minutes. Mandy Rose is next in, and now Absolution is double teaming Bayley for the majority of the next 5 minutes. Second into the chamber here is Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks cleans house, hits a bank statement, and Mandy Rose taps out. So Mandy Rose, the first one eliminated. Next in is Mickie James. Mickie James would hit a nice Dez press off the top of the pod, and she would pin Sonya Deville. Bayley would hit the Bayley to belly on Mickie James and pin her. And then, I would have really liked to see kind of Banks and Bayley go at it right now, but they kind of just laid there and waited out the rest of the time until Alexa Bliss was entered. So Alexa Bliss tries to run it up the pod, and I think this is one of the first times we've seen this in the chamber matches where someone's actually trying to run away. Yeah, we've seen before where people have tried to close their pod doors and stay in their pod, but physically running away, running up the chamber, and Alexa was like running up the chamber and almost above the doorway there, and Sasha was on one pod, Bayley was on another pod, and she was kind of just stuck in the middle there. So Bayley goes down, and Alexa gets down, and Sasha ends up cheap shotting Bayley. It didn't get as big of a reaction as it should have. Like I said earlier, this crowd might have been just off today, or so. We see a superplex to Bayley, and Sasha Banks hits a nice frog splash onto Bayley for only a 2 count. We see a belly to Bayley on Sasha Banks, and Alexa Bliss rolls up Bayley. We see a Twisted Bliss into a bank statement, and Sasha Banks was pretty much on the outside of the ring ropes, and for whatever reason, I'm not sure if they just started doing this recently with the chambers, that they said the falls had to count inside the ring. I'm not sure when that started, but so Banks tries to go up again, but Alexa Bliss pulls her into the DDT. Twisted Bliss, Alexa Bliss retains. So I thought the match was great. Alexa Bliss cuts this babyface promo and just cuts the crowd off halfway through the promo and heels up on him, getting that heat back. And during the Alexa Bliss promo, Sasha Banks was like kind of pouting on the steps. I thought that was kind of weird how they showed that. So I think the second match of the night was the Raw Tag Title match. The Bar retained the titles. Third match would have been Matt Hardy actually defeated Bray Wyatt. No real surprise there, because Bray Wyatt has been on a hell of a losing streak. I think the last time he won on pay-per-view was Great Balls of Fire. And, you know, it really sucks because Bray Wyatt, he could be a very dominant heel if they really wanted him to be. Excuse me. So, the main event of the night would be the men's Elimination Chamber match. But before we got into this, we got into the Ronda Rousey contract signing. And right away, I'm pretty sure they were booing her. They were just booing this whole segment. And Triple H, Stephanie, and Kurt Angle are all in the ring. And it just came across as pretty bad acting. They're kind of talking with the mics still on the table and everything like that. And then you could kind of hear Stephanie saying something. And then Rousey picks the mic up and she's like, "Oh, Kurt, you had something to say." And Kurt Angle's like, "Oh, yeah, you remember that WrestleMania 21? And Kurt Angle just completely flubs his lines. And he's like, "After that, they said, now we got her under contract, we can do anything with her," and all this stuff. And Triple H is like, "Oh, Kurt Angle was in the hospital," and all this stuff. Kind of comedic in a way. So Triple H gets Kurt out of the ring. I think that's really the only reason why Kurt was there, but I'm not sure if they legitimately made him mess his lineup or he actually did it himself. But they get Kurt out of the ring, and all of a sudden Ronda Rousey backs Stephanie up into the side ropes there, and Triple H runs back in the ring, kind of breaks him up, and Stephanie, you can hear, "Oh, I didn't do nothing, I didn't do anything," and so now Triple H gets Stephanie out of the ring. When Triple H turns back around, side suplex into the table, Ronda Rousey signs a contract, tosses the little clipboard onto Triple H, and walks out with her little mean face. But before all that happened, Stephanie actually slapped the hell out of Rousey. It looked like she legit got pissed off, Rousey did. And you know, she has to learn to take bumps like this. But at the same time, I didn't really like how Stephanie and Triple H kind of had to be right top, front and center with this whole thing. Stephanie McMahon obviously had to get one over on Rousey to start the show off. Let's have Rousey inadvertently bump Steph or something like that, and cause a commotion between the two. But, just for Steph to kind of just slap the hell out of her, kind of. I hate how Stephanie is in there with the women's revolution, the women's evolution, whatever they're calling it now. But let's get into the men's elimination chamber match. The first time ever, 7 men would compete. 3 men start the match with Miz, Balor, and Seth Rollins. John Cena would come in first, and he would hit a double superplex on, I think, Rollins. Roman Reigns would be in second, and Miz is hitting the Daniel Bryan knees to all 4 guys at the same time. Pretty cool spot, actually. Roman Reigns cleans house, and next in is Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman hits a double suplex to Seth and Cena. Miz runs from Braun Strowman on top of a pod, and Braun Strowman climbs the pod, starts smashing his face off the plexiglass, tosses Miz off the pod onto Cena, Reigns, and Rollins, and they kind of catch him on the way down. But that was a really cool spot. Braun Strowman hits a power slam on the Miz. Next in would be Elias. Elias kind of stays in his pod for a few minutes here, and it's all 4 guys versus Braun Strowman, and all 4 guys hit a shield power bomb, as they called it here, onto Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman kicks out while all 4 guys are pinning him. We see a to Braun Strowman, a spear to Braun Strowman, a curb stomp, and a coup de grace on the steel. And Elias comes in with knees to Cena. Sit-out powerbomb for 2 count onto Reigns. Braun Strowman comes in with a power slam to Elias for the pin. A power slam to Cena for the pin. And Balor hits the coup de grace on Reigns. But Braun Strowman quickly scoops up Balor for a power slam. Balor is pinned as well. So Roman Reigns would be the only one left here with Braun Strowman. And we see a Samoan drop onto Braun Strowman. A frog splash off the pod to Braun Strowman. And he kicks out. Power slam to Rollins. Rollins is gone. Braun Strowman becomes, I think, the first man to eliminate 5 guys in one chamber match. I'm not sure what the record was before. It might have been 3 or 4. It would take 3 Superman punches and 2 spears for Roman Reigns to get the pin on Strowman. I thought the match was okay, but the crowd reaction was pretty much dead at the end. They were definitely booing Roman Reigns, and they did not want to see Roman win. No pyro at the end, which is kind of surprising, but Roman Reigns looked very dominant with his win, and Braun Strowman looked hella dominant, eliminating 5 guys. So we went off the air. Roman Reigns is going to WrestleMania to challenge Brock Lesnar. The next night on Raw, just to kind of give a little recap here quickly, it was supposed to be Reigns and Lesnar face to face, but apparently Lesnar didn't show up. Reigns cut this shoot promo saying, people are sick of Lesnar being part-time, which is true. And, overall, I would say get the title off Lesnar as quick as possible. And they're not going to get the same results like they did in 2016 with Reigns being successful with his title reign. I thought his title run in 2016 was fairly successful, but he had the right opponents. I think the thing here is to get the title off of Lesnar, get it off Reigns, get it onto Strowman or Rollins. That's my best bet. But overall, I would definitely give this pay-per-view a thumbs down. There wasn't too much good here going on. And, nobody really wanted to see Roman Reigns win, but the show was too predictable to go against Reigns. So, what were your thoughts on the pay-per-view, guys? Did you enjoy it for what it was? And what are your thoughts on Lesnar versus Reigns? Subscribe to the channel, guys. We'll talk to you later. Peace.